Hello and welcome to Sim.pc, where right now it's 2036. Yes, it's late in the evening because I've been to school, I've been to the gym, I'm doing all the stuff that I have to do, that I feel like I need to do, and I'm prioritizing in a way that just feels right. Even though I'm prioritizing this right here over my thesis at the moment, that I'm going to do in a short while, but at least I will do it, and I will sit up until late in the morning in order to do it. Isn't that just a student life? Is it just me? Is it just me? Right? Is it just me? No, of course it's not. I've heard lots of people, especially in this area and this time of the spring semester, people are saying like, I'm going to sit the entire night at university. Why? Well, because I had something that I have had like 2 months to do, and now it's 2 weeks left and I haven't started. Now, that's not the case with the thesis, obviously, hopefully for most of people, hopefully for all the people. But there's still some, that are putting all of their eggs in one basket, so to say, and that basket happens to be just, 1 week or 2 weeks. But that's up to them now, isn't it? But that's not why you're here at all now, is it? No. You're here because you want to listen to me complain about something or give my opinion on something. Or just because you're rather curious about who is this guy who's bold and standing there and just talking to people with a bit of, I would like to say beard, but you can't even see it in the camera now, can you? So what is even the point of me making a brilliant, or rather not brilliant, but a weird joke about my beard that nobody even say. Anyway, mates, and I can just say this is going to be a short video because I've already been singing a bit and I've been trying to beatbox. I know it's not the coolest thing ever, except that it is. I'm a rat, people. Anyways, I'm gonna listen to that. So unfortunately, I only have like 40 minutes left on the DSLR. Now some of you might say, yeah, and I hear you. Why don't you just restart and take a fresh 20 minutes? I'm a rat. Anyway, that was enough chit-chatting now, wasn't it? We're getting into the part here, and now I'm going to talk about social convention. And today I'm going to talk about two things, hopefully, maybe only one if it drags out. Can you imagine? That I don't really care for that much. One of the things being, and I'm going to put you the context here, I'm going to set the scene. I'm going to explain the things first, though, even before I do it. It's the thing that people are looking away when they see someone they partially know. Now with that tease. Imagine this situation, right? You're walking down the street. Just a normal street. Just a normal day, right? Perhaps you're hanging out with a couple of your mates. Perhaps you don't. But anyway, you're walking down the street. It's a beautiful day. Nothing's really wrong. You look fine, right? I mean, you look good. You always do, don't you? And you meet and you see someone from far away. And you're thinking to yourself, I might know this person. There might be a slim chance, a very fringe chance here, or risk rather, in this during this circumstance, that I know that person over there. Oh my lord, what do I do now? What can I, as an intellectual, right, as a human being, someone who has developed way beyond what people probably could expect us to do 2,000 years ago. I mean, we've developed a society where we can interact with the press of a single button with a text. How hard is it to be on social, really, when it's easier than it has ever been before? And yet we have an ever-increasing understanding of the universe and everything around us. And people and biology for that matter. And yet these social things are hard to us. We just don't seem to get it, right? I mean, I can do calculus like it was, swimming. But when it comes to these social interactions, I tend to be scared and run away. That's not what's happening in this case, though. But imagine you're seeing someone down there, and you as a sane person, because you probably are a sane person, right? Think that you recognize them. What do? You can either go straight up to them and say hi, but that would be awkward now, wouldn't it? Because what if this person isn't the person that you thought they would be? That's a problem. And on the other hand, what if they are the person that you thought they were, and you don't know them that well? This is a minefield of social experiments. I mean, just imagine, right? Just put yourself into the situation, because I'm sure that all of you have been there. I've certainly been there many times a day sometimes. That you see someone that you used to hang out with, or that you work together with on a special occasion, or that you just perhaps ended up going out with, not perhaps on a date, perhaps just on a night out. You don't really know each other, but you've spent a significant amount of time with each other. Enough so that if you saw each other, if you locked eye contact, you would probably feel obligated, both of you, to say hi to each other, because that would be the normal sane thing to do. Now, do we do that same thing on the other hand? No, we don't. We absolutely do not do that one same thing that we know to be correct. Because in this situation, you're probably looking at the person, establishing for, reasonably that this is a person you know. And what you do, you increasingly, directly look away. Preferably down in the ground, down on your phone. This is a very common thing that you're seeing someone and you're like, I perhaps know that person. And you look at your phone like you would never do otherwise. It's not the natural, look that you're just like skipping over it, maybe checking the time. It's like straight in your face. And you're like, oh yeah, this is completely normal. I have probably not seen the other person. Because what you try to avoid is lock eyes. Because if you've seen this person before this person has seen you, this other person don't know that you've seen the first person to begin with. You follow me? Yeah. So this other person will probably either not notice you at all, expect that you're walking around like a maniac with your phone in your head, right? Or that you're doing some twisty motion, that you're trying to look at the ground, but then you realize, I need to look at the sky, I need to look natural. So you do all of these things, right? To try to look at everything at once. And you're like, oh yeah, this is natural, but at least I don't have eye contact. Woo, this could have been embarrassing, oh couldn't it? See the problem here? Anyway, so this other person probably wouldn't have noticed you if it wasn't for the case that you noticed them first and start to do all these twitchy different things. That's considered, by the way, to be completely sane, which I don't understand. But, I might be outside of the social spectrum, right? Could be the case. Anyway, so you try to avoid the eye contact the best that you can. The sickening or even weirder thing, right, is that this other person, if they see you and they think that you recognize you, they will do the exact same thing. Because if both of you look, because you would look, because if you don't really know if you recognize the person, you would look again. But you don't want to look when they look. So if you see them starting doing these twisty motion, and it is apparent, still considered normal, but it is apparent when you have seen that someone else has seen you, because they start behaving completely unnatural. So everybody around can probably also establish that that person was walking around, down the streets, talking with their mates, in a completely normal fashion, like, yeah, right, am I right? And then on the way back, they go like, oh, what a nice guy, what a fine day, am I right? So people around you can probably also see it, but yet again, they would probably think either, what an idiot, or they would say, that's completely natural, look at the other guy who's doing the same thing, and they're like, what? And this other guy is like, so you both have seen each other, you both know that you've spotted each other, but you haven't got this magical eye contact, you haven't locked eyes with each other. That's the magic part, because as far as you haven't done that, everything's okay. And there's different reasons for why you don't want to do this. You don't want to look at someone that you know and just keep your eyes locked. Because that's really weird, even if you do know them, even if you don't want to be with them, right? You don't want to move like this and be like, hello? No, what you tend to do is something like this. You're like, oh, hi. Oh, hello. You know what I mean? Even if it's someone that you do know, you tend to do that. But when it's someone that you don't want to be with, you do the same, but you tend not to look at them. Probably you purposely look away. It's something that you maybe could have a reason to look at that point in time. Some people just stare straight, right? And being like, oh, I didn't see you, I was in my own mind. And sometimes that's the case. That's why it's so brilliant and work. However, since that is something that could work, but that usually isn't the case, people just think that you're a jerk if you say that. So when I, for instance, go past people that I apparently knew, and I'm saying like, oh, sorry, I just didn't pay attention. People are like, oh yeah, you didn't pay attention, did you? And I'm like, no, I did not pay attention. I was in my own head, right? I was in my own thoughts. I have many of them. It's hard to organize them all. And they're just like, oh yeah, you didn't you? Yeah, you prick. You bloody prick. And I'm just standing there like, what did I do now? Okay, so this is something that I think is quite irritating, because especially when you come to the crossing, as I just established, you come to the crossing because you've established that both of you are acting like unnatural twisted jerks, who is completely normal in this social standard that we do have, and you're twitching around on your own in your own different parts, right? But you're moving closer and closer and closer, and as you move closer and closer, the twitching tends to increase. It's kind of a linear relationship between that, each and every step becomes more frank with. So it starts off nice and nice and nice, and then as you move closer, you're like, ooh. And when you're really close, you yet again assume some form of position and just walk by. Or you do the worst thing you can do, which is probably the best thing that people like. And that is, you both know that you both have seen each other, but you're a bit unsure of it, but you think that both of you know. So when you walk past each other, one of you will go for the wave. Yeah. One of you will go for the wave, a casual wave like, oh, hi there. I didn't see you. We've been walking on a square or down a street with nobody else around us. At least nobody else behind you and nobody else behind me. But I didn't see you there. I think that all of the air was kind of getting in the way. You know, typical mistake, happens to everyone. So you're walking down the street and you're passing this other person and you just throw a casual wave. Now, a couple of things can happen there. The casual wave is still pretty good because at least you've extended a social courtesy, right? You've been saying that, you know what, I'll wave to you. I think that you're a decent person. I know from experience that I've probably met you before. Hopefully. So I'm gonna just extend a good, a wave. It's nice, right? The other person can either just walk by, straight by, and be a prick, because they've probably seen you, they probably recognized the wave, but thought that they were too late to wave, even though it's better to wave than not to wave. Wait, I take that back. It's worse to go past them and then turn around and wave, just to get, both of you diminished, because none of you saw each other waving, you're like, we messed this up, didn't we? No. What can happen is that the other person's walking past, and you're just like, here I am standing like an idiot, waving to, air. If anybody saw me right now, they would think that I waved to this person and this person is a complete stranger, which has also happened, basing it on experience, right? Unfortunately, this social convention is hard, is what I'm trying to say. But you can also have an overcommitter. And you don't want to have that. You can have that you're going for the casual wave, but you could have initiated it the wrong way. Yes, you can do that. I mean, just imagine this scenario, right? You're moving up and you're going for the wave, right? You're taking your hand up, but as you're doing that, your hand is making a straight motion that looks like a firm handshake. That's troublesome because the other person have seen you from before, start twitching around on their own, but as they're getting closer to you, as they're moving closer, they're thinking, this guy wants a handshake. And you're just like, either you go both for it, and the one person is approaching you, she's thinking like, I should, mission abort halfway, down again. But then you see that when you're moving down, the other guy is moving up, and maybe he's going for a hug. Maybe he's totally didn't understand. You're like, we're not that close. We shared a beer. That's all that we did. And you're like, how do we do now? And you end up with this awkward situation. One person is hugging, the other one is holding in, the crotch region out this firm hand that says hello to you, shaking everything you can get your hands on, and the other person is hugging you, and yet again you've created this awkward position where everybody around you just thinks like, wow, they know each other a bit too well now, don't they? Oh, isn't it just the worst? Haven't really happened to me, I would like to say. What? But it do happen, and it's all because of this social convention that you can't just see each other, spot each other from miles away, throw a wave, casual wave, or do you know what you can do? You can text them. You can say, are you at the Palace Square this evening? And the other person might receive a text saying, yes, I am. Two things can happen here as well. Either they're saying, yes, I am. Why do you ask? And you can say, I think I see you. And you can have a nice bit of exchange and conversation. Very natural. Both of you have clearly established that the other one knows the other one is there. Or you can have that, you text this and they say, no, I'm not. But you can clearly see that the other person took up the phone. And then you're back in this awkward position when you're trying to walk past each other, but you know that the other person don't want you to know that they're there. Actually, it can be a third thing. You can send a text and say, hi, I'm at Palace Square. Are you happening to be here as well? Because I think I can see you. And you can just see the person taking up their phone casually, being a bit happy, reading it, just run away. I wish I didn't have that much experience in this field, but you do what you do, am I right? Anyway, peoples, I actually just got through one because I realized I have so many issues with that one social convention. So I guess that we're saving the next one for tomorrow. But yeah, that's just all about seeing each other on a distance and going for the handshake, wave, hug, runaway. It's weird. especially the twitchy motion. That's what I was going for in the beginning, but I realized there are so much deeper problems to this approach than I could ever realize. I mean, just the handshake in itself is an entire video on its own, because that's a minefield of social convention. How good do you know each other? Is it good? Is it bad? Am I crazy for hugging this person? Am I not crazy for hugging this person? And what is the gender neutrality? What's the culture? Which country am I in? You know, all these things to keep in mind. Hopefully you will know which country that you're in when you start going full, you know, meeting people and stuff. Anyway, mates, have a nice one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, rather that you go for a firm wave than that you move into a wavy handshake hug firm. Bye.